Once you know how to solve systems of equations by graphing, the next type that you want to learn is solving by substitution, okay? So when you have a system, or two equations in this case, you want to use substitution when one variable in one of the equations is solved for. So in this case, the y is solved for. So what I like to do is put a box around what that y equals, and I'm going to sub it in, right? Substitution. I'm going to sub it in for y in the other equation. The reason we do this is so that we only have one variable, right? You can't really solve an equation for a specific variable if there's an x and a y. But by putting this in here, I'm going to sub this in. Notice this doesn't have any y's in it. I'm going to replace this y, so the only thing to be left is just a bunch of x's, and I would be able to solve that. So let's try this. Here I'd have 4x plus 3, and then I'm going to leave a space, and that space is where I'll sub this in. I'll say equals negative 13. So I'm subbing in the 2x minus 11. All right, and then this is just an algebra 1 type problem where we can distribute and solve for x. So we got 4x plus 6x minus 33 equals negative 13. Combine my x's to get 10x minus, my goodness, minus 33 equals negative 13. If I add 33, let's see, that's going to give me 20. So 10x equals 20. If I divide by 10, of course, x is going to equal 2. Right? But remember, we need an xy ordered pair in order to solve this thing. So then it doesn't really matter. You can take this and sub it back into either of the two red ones. And personally, I like to do the one where my box was. So I'm going to have this y equals 2x minus 11. I just kind of copied this one down. And I'm going to replace the x this time with the 2. So y equals 2 times 2 minus 11. Again, the 2 is going right in there for the x. So 4 minus 11 is a negative 7. 4 minus 11, y equals negative 7. Now remember, we do write our answers as ordered pairs, so x, y. So I'd say 2, negative 7 as the answer to this system of equations. So let's try one more. All right, now that we know what to do on that last one, this one should go a little bit faster. Here, hopefully you can see right away that the variable it's solved for is this x in the second equation. So I'm going to put a box around what it equals. We're going to sub it in for the x in the other equation. Again, you always sub it in for the one that it equals. So here I'm going to put that in for the x right there. So I'm going to say 7 in this top equation, and then leave a space for what we're going to sub in. Minus 2y equals 35. And in this space, terrible 5. In this space, we're going to put what is in the box, all right? So we're going to say 4y plus 5. You'll notice that now all I have is just y's, which I am able to solve for. So if I distribute this, we get 28y plus 35 minus 2y equals 35. Okay, so let's see. Put the y's together. 28y minus 2y is 26y. And then I can say plus 35 equals 35. And I think these 35s are going to cancel, leaving me with 26y equals 0. So if I divide by 26, 0 divided by anything is 0. So we get y equals 0. So that's one part of our ordered pair. If it's an xy point, that's the second part. The first part, I need to sub this back in. Again, I have to do it with the one that has the box on it. So I'm going to say x equals 4y plus 5. And we're plugging this y in right there for 0. Okay, so we'll say x equals 4 times 0 plus 5. Again, that 0 is coming from here. 4 times 0, of course, is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. So x equals 5 in this one. If I want to write my answer as an ordered pair, I would say 5, 0. So the answer to this one, is the x first, 5, and then the y is 0. And that's how you solve system of equations with substitution.